I never knew one trip could completely change how I see Christmas. But that's exactly what happened when I landed in the Philippines. I thought I was just going on a holiday vacation, but I quickly realized that for Filipinos, Christmas isn't just a celebration, it's a season of raw, powerful emotion. It's love, sacrifice, laughter, tears, and family, all happening at once. And what struck me the most is how they keep that connection alive, even when family members are oceans and time zones apart. The first moment that hit me, like a wave of pure emotion, was right there at the Manila airport. It wasn't the giant Christmas trees or the festive music that got me. It was the people. I saw dozens of families packed into the arrivals area, all waiting. They weren't just waiting patiently, they were vibrating with anticipation. Some clutched bouquets of flowers so tight their knuckles were white. Others held up hand-painted signs that said, "Welcome home, Papa," or "We missed you, 8." And then, the automatic doors would slide open, and a person pulling a luggage cart would walk through. The reaction was explosive. A sound would erupt from a family, a scream of pure, unadulterated joy. Kids would break free from their parents' hands and sprint towards their returning loved one, leaping into their arms. I saw an elderly woman, her face a roadmap of wrinkles, grab her son's face in her hands, shaking and sobbing, unable to speak. The hugs weren't polite. They were desperate, like they were trying to make up for years of missed contact in a single embrace. It was the most beautiful, overwhelming display of love I had ever witnessed. But then, I noticed something else. Something that truly broke my heart and put everything into perspective. There were other families there, standing quietly off to the side. They were holding phones, video calling someone. They were at the airport, but their loved one wasn't walking through those doors. They had come to the airport anyway, just to feel a little closer to the one they missed, to share in the atmosphere of reunion, even if it wasn't their own. They would point the camera at the crowds, saying, "Look, Anak, this will be us next year. I promise." They were celebrating Christmas at an airport, separated by a screen, their tears a mix of sadness and hope. And in that moment, I finally understood. The Christmas lights, the gifts, the parties, that's all just background noise. For Filipinos, the heart of Christmas is this fierce, unbreakable bond of family. It's a love so strong that people will work for years in a foreign country, sacrificing everything just to give their family a better life. And it's a love so deep that families will come to an empty arrival gate just to feel a little bit closer to the person they're missing. It's a love that survives distance, a love that defines the true spirit of a Filipino Christmas. And it's something I will carry with me forever. I thought I understood Christmas. You know, back in the States, it's all about family gatherings, presents under the tree, that cozy feeling of everyone being together. But when I came to the Philippines for the holidays, I realized I only knew one chapter of the story. My first impression? Heartbreak. Everywhere I looked, I saw families video calling loved ones abroad. I saw tears in the eyes of mothers talking to their sons in Dubai, fathers trying to hold it together while their daughters in Canada sang them a Christmas carol through a tiny phone screen. It was raw, and it was painful. I learned that for millions of Filipinos, Christmas is a season of longing, a bittersweet reminder of the distance, and my heart ached for them. I thought, this is what Filipino Christmas is, a beautiful, but sad waiting game. But then, something shifted. It was like someone flipped a switch, and the entire country burst into pure, unfiltered joy. Suddenly, the streets weren't just streets anymore. They were explosions of light and color. I saw entire neighborhoods competing to build the most magnificent paroles, these giant, glowing star lanterns that looked like they'd fallen straight from the sky. They weren't just decorations. They felt like beacons of hope, lighting up the night. Everywhere I went, the air was filled with music. Kids would just start dancing on the sidewalks to Christmas songs blasting from a nearby store. The energy was absolutely contagious. You couldn't help but smile. And the food. Oh, the food. After attending Simbang Gabi, the traditional 9-day dawn masses, the church courtyards would transform. The smell of bibingka, this sweet, smoky rice cake, and puto bumbong, a purple sticky rice steamed in bamboo, would just pull you in. I found myself standing in line, laughing and sharing stories with complete strangers who treated me like I was one of their own, like I was family. In those moments, I totally forgot about the sadness I'd seen earlier. It felt like Filipino Christmas gives everyone permission to be happy, to celebrate life, even when there's a part of them that's missing someone. But the most profound lesson came when I was invited into people's homes for Noche, Buena, the Christmas Eve feast. In one home, the mother was a nurse in the UK. In another, the father worked on a cargo ship. They weren't there physically, but they were present. At the dinner table, there would be an empty chair, but it wasn't empty at all. It was set with a plate, filled with the missing person's favorite dish, and next to the plate, a framed picture. It was their way of saying, "You are here with us." They'd share stories about them, laugh about old memories, and toast to their health. That's when it hit me. I had it all wrong. Filipino Christmas isn't about the pain of distance. It's about the power of love to transcend it. It's about celebrating not despite the absence, but because of the love that remains. It taught me that love doesn't leave just because a person does. And that's a Christmas spirit I'll carry with me forever. I wore a traditional Filipino gown, wanting to fully immerse myself in the culture. But what I experienced went so much deeper than just the beautiful clothes and festive decorations. It was something that completely changed my perspective on what family and love truly mean. I was invited into a home on Christmas Eve, and I watched a family prepare for a video call. The dad, I learned, works on a cruise ship somewhere in the middle of the ocean. The children were buzzing with excitement, jumping around, trying to fix their hair and look their best for the camera. Their mom was busy in the kitchen, and I saw her quickly wipe away a tear before turning back to the stove, a forced smile on her face as she told the kids to behave. Then, the moment came. The clock struck midnight. The video call connected. In unison, they all shouted, "Merry Christmas," at the screen. And there he was, their dad, his face beaming with a smile so wide it almost hid the tears welling up in his eyes. He was trying so hard to be strong for them. But then, their youngest child, a little girl no older than 5, held up a small plate to the camera and said, "Papa, I saved your spaghetti." And that was it. Everyone just broke. The dad on the screen couldn't hold it in anymore, and tears streamed down his face. The mom started crying, the older kids too, but they were all laughing through their tears. It was the most heartbreakingly beautiful thing I had ever seen. A mix of pure joy and profound sadness, all wrapped up in a plate of spaghetti. And before I continue with the most emotional part of this journey, let me just say, if you're still watching, it means the story is touching your heart just as much as it touched mine. So please, like this video and subscribe, because what comes next is a story of love and sacrifice that the whole world needs to see. After that night, I met so many different families, each with their own story of long-distance love. There was a mother in Dubai, sending home huge Balikbayan boxes filled with toys and clothes. But tucked inside each gift, she had wrapped handwritten letters, her love language sent across the miles. I heard about a son in Japan who wakes up at a.m. his time, just so he can join his family's Christmas dinner through a video call. I even saw 2 sisters in Canada singing karaoke with their family back home, their voices tinny through a phone speaker, all of them laughing uncontrollably at each other's off-tune singing. I realized that Filipinos have mastered the art of celebrating through screens. Not because they want to, but because their love for their families demands that kind of strength, that kind of resilience. They've learned to bridge impossible distances with technology, laughter, and a whole lot of heart. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for the climax of my journey. After witnessing all these virtual celebrations, I was about to witness a real-life reunion. An overseas Filipino worker mom was coming home after 4 years in the US. Her son, who was just 5 when she left, was now 9. He just stood there, completely still, as she walked towards him. You could see it on his face. He couldn't believe the person he'd only seen on a phone screen was suddenly real. He slowly reached for her hand, then just leaped into her arms, hugging her with all his might. She started crying, these deep sobs like she'd been holding them in for years. And then the most amazing thing happened. The whole airport started clapping. Because in that one hug, we all felt it. A love so strong that for years and thousands of miles couldn't even touch it. As I get ready to fly back to America, leaving the Philippines after Christmas, I've realized something profound. Christmas here, it isn't about fancy gifts or a picture-perfect snowy scene. It's about holding onto the people you love, even when life forces you apart. It's about sacrifice, loyalty, and the unwavering belief that someday, the whole family will sit at the same table again. Filipino Christmas taught me that home isn't a place or a country. Home is the people you love, whether they're beside you or on a screen thousands of miles away. As long as that love stays alive, the family is never truly broken. Merry Christmas, and may love always bring you home.